Hi, it's time again for your weekly devotion. Earlier this week, someone asked me an important and an interesting question. They asked me what's my favorite Bible verse and also why. And the moment they asked, this one verse popped up and I just shared it with them. I said the verse from 1 Samuel 16:7, where God says, "For God does not see as man sees. Man looks at the outward appearance, but God looks at the heart." That was easy, but the next part as to why it was my favorite verse got me thinking for a while. But here's what I said. I said, regardless of who we are in this world, whether we are believers or non believers, whether we are born and brought up in a Christian family or someone who just accepted Christ, when we come across someone new in our life, when we meet someone for the first time, at least for one split second, we will have a thought of judgment. We will assume that person would be a certain character or something about them the moment we see them. We can't deny that. But God, on the other hand, isn't someone who judges people by the way they look, by the way they carry themselves, or whatever it is to do with that person. But God looks at the very inner parts of every person's heart. So David was one such man who was called, as you all know, a man after God's own heart. But he did not just stop at that. He wasn't just a man who knew God's heart. He was someone who also shared, who also taught others how to, seek the Lord. And one instance that I want to share with you all is taken from the book of First Chronicles, chapter 28, verse 9, where David talks to his son Solomon. He says here, "As for you, my son Solomon, know the God of your father and serve him with a loyal heart and a willing mind." And the next part he says, "For the Lord searches all hearts and understands all the intent of the thoughts." David knew the secret to getting close to God's heart. He knew how to be a man after God's own heart. But he did not keep it to himself. Think about it. A man at the most highest position at that time, being the king of Israel, he could have kept this to himself and he could have just died. But he did not do that. In fact, in the previous chapters, you can read that God says no to David when he has this desire of building a temple for God. But God said, "No, your son will build the temple." David did not just obey God and share his passion with his son, but he also shared the secret of seeking the Lord. So my question to you today is, how often do you share your relationship with the Lord to others around you? How are you sharing the love of Christ to the next generation? It's not just that we know the Lord and we have this daily relationship with him, but it is also important for us to share the faith, the joy, the hope, the love that God has put in each one of our hearts. And that's something that I learned from David, and I believe that each one of us can learn and apply in the way that we can. So that, my friend, is the encouragement for you for this week, and I believe it was a blessing for you, and if it was, to share with someone. God bless you, and you have a Christ-centered, blessed week. Take care. Bye-bye.